We are halfway through the trading session. It is Wednesday, February 3rd. Hello, traders. Let's take a look at the market. We always have to start with the market. Market first, market first, market first. We've got a lot of new information this week that we didn't have last week. Last week, my bias was fairly neutral. I saw a lot of cross currents. I could make an argument why the market's going to go higher or lower. Fairly dangerous environment because we don't want to be stuck in a situation where it could go either way. So our risk exposure had to be fairly light. Now, what do we know now that we didn't know a week ago? We had the heaviest selling that we've seen since November, and we broke an upward sloping trend line on the S&P 500, and we broke the 50-day moving average. Very, very bearish feel going into the weekend. So what happened this week? This week we had a nice little gap up on Monday. Very, very telling price action. The market pulled back a little bit just to make sure that that gap was going to hold. We filled the gap, and then we never looked back. Nice, solid buying and a close near the high of the day. Okay, you could say that was just a nice bounce and the buyers scooped shares up and we had beginning of the month fund buying. That certainly was an influence. Here's the tell. Tuesday, the market gaps higher, and typically after heavy selling like we saw last week, you would have lots of bid checks. What is a bid check? A bid check is where the market pulls back and then it bounces, pulls back and then it bounces. A series of higher lows. That tells you that all along the way there are sellers poking and prodding to make sure that buyers are still there. We didn't see any of that on Tuesday. The market rallied, it held the opening gap, and it kept moving higher the whole day. And then it got into a compression. We never even tested the low from yesterday. If there were heavy selling pressure after a day where you get a really nice bounce like we did on Monday, you would see a gap higher and then you'd try and come back and at least fill in some of the gap. If you can't fill in much of it, then that's very bullish. If you fill in most of it, it tells you that the bounce is going to be fairly limited and that we're probably going to see some downside somewhere soon. Check that upward sloping trend line, check the low from Friday. Never happened. Never even got close. That opening price held firm. That told me we're probably going to be off to the races. Now let's fast forward to today. And I'm spending a lot of time on the market because this is what drives all of your decision making. And if you're not paying attention to the market, you'll eventually have your head handed to you because 75% of all stocks follow the market. So you would expect maybe we can test that open today. Market opened, kind of chopped around. We had some heavy resistance, 1-2 touches at the high of the day yesterday, never got close to it, and we backed right off. But this sell-off didn't last at all. We have one long red candle here, a little bit of a poke down to the low of the day. As soon as we get below it, you have this bullish hammer, and the next candle is almost an engulfing candle that takes the open of this red candle right out. We start to grind, 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 and now here we are, knocking on the door of the high from yesterday. Now it's time for us to zoom out, take a look at the broader picture. So you know that I've been mentioning we've got this upward sloping channel here, so let me draw that in for you. We'll also drop the 50-day moving average so you can see where that came into play. There's your upward sloping trend line right there. Now, we poked just below that trend line on Friday, and that had a very bearish feel. And there's the 50-day moving average right there. So you can see that on Monday, we barely even tested that 50-day moving average, closed on the high, and now we're off to the races and we're back within striking distance of the all-time high. Democrats are really pushing the rhetoric on a stimulus bill. Everybody, including Janet Yellen, the Treasury Secretary, is saying, go big or go home. We're going to do this. We don't care if we've got Republican votes or not. We control Congress. We control the White House. Let's get it done. The more that's ramped up, the more likely a breakout to the upside is. I think the market is getting ready for a new all-time high, and it could happen in the course of the next few days. Very, very strong price action. Until we got this sell-off right here, we didn't know how strong the market bid was, but it was this reaction right here that told me we're going higher. So after you get a nice sell-off like that, you would have maybe a bounce for one day, and then the selling would resume, and you would take out that low from Friday, and then you could continue to drift lower. We never even got close to that type of price action. That tells me that there's lots of pent-up demand out there. We also saw a bunch of short squeezes last week, so we know the retail investor is all in. We know that they have record margin borrowing right now from the brokerage firms. So investors are all in, interest rates are low. We had decent earnings yesterday from Google and from Amazon. Both of those stocks are trading higher today. So really decent backdrop for us right now. We also had ADP came out today, 174,000, 50,000 was expected. Much better employment number. We had ISM manufacturing come out earlier in the week. Very robust number. ISM services came out today. Very robust number. The economy is kind of clicking along here, even with all of the COVID shutdowns, and you can throw $1 trillion plus stimulus bill on top of that. And we already had 900 billion in December. If this stimulus bill is anywhere north of $1 trillion, the market's going to shoot higher. I know they've been talking about a $1.9 trillion stimulus bill. Yesterday I showed you Caterpillar. It certainly would benefit from an infrastructure build out. I also showed you KMI Sunday night. That's actually been a pretty decent little bearish call spread. Even with the market going up, you can see how KMI has continued to drift lower. So I still like that trade. I think it's a pretty good one. But now that we have all the information out there, I would probably buy KMI back because there's no reason to be short the market. We have a market that wants to go higher. Focus on the bullish side. I promised I would keep this short, so I'm just going to take a look at a couple of really nice stocks that are setting up. You know we like Google. We like Google right there on that breakout. We sold bullish put spreads below that breakout. That turned out very well. You can see the earnings announcement there, and it just blew through horizontal resistance. Goodbye. Google looks really, really good. I'm going to continue to go down the list. Alibaba looks interesting. Jack Ma has had some problems with the Chinese government. So this stock is very, very choppy, but I do like this possible breakout here through resistance. I would keep it very short term in terms of your trades. I would click this bar right here, drop your horizontal alert line. If it closes above it, I think it's got a chance to get up to this price level right here. So not my favorite, but definitely one that I think that you can day trade. There was another Chinese stock, and I don't see it on the list anymore. Actually, here it is. Momo. That's actually got a nice little breakout here. I'm going to put up the major moving averages. It just got through the 200-day moving average. You can see that right there, but it's backed off of it. This one has a chance to maybe go higher. I'm going to continue to go down the list here, see what else we've got. Save, I like this chart. I'm not a big fan of airlines, but this is a pretty decent looking chart. Announced earnings before the open. I like this horizontal breakout right here. You can see on decent volume. I think SAVE continues to move higher. LVS, we've got a nice little breakout through this downward sloping trend line. There's your earnings announcement. It's above the 100-day moving average. Could be a decent one to sell some premium below that 100-day moving average. I'd like to see one more good day in here, and I'd like to see it get above this technical resistance point, which it is right now. So you need to get maybe another decent close above that 100-day, and then I think you can look to sell bullish put spreads down below it. Continue to take a look here. All the pot stocks are going crazy. Bullish flag formation. There's your flagpole. Downward sloping trend line. Closed above it yesterday. Today, off to the races. CRON is one. If you brought up TLRY, that's got a similar chart. There's your bullish flag right there. Goodbye. So those pot stocks are really good. APHA, another one. Bullish flag. Goodbye. And let's see what else we've got here. These stocks have been coming up all day on the searches, so we've had a lot of members who have been on these all day. CLNE, nice little breakout through horizontal resistance right here. Got excellent volume. This is a clean energy play. Also looks quite good. So any of these I think will work out well for you. Giving you plenty of stocks to take a look at. I like Google. I think Alibaba on a short-term basis looks interesting to me. All the pot stocks are super, super hot right now. TLRY, APHA, CRON. CLNE looks pretty good. LVS might be a decent bullish put spread that you can put on. See how easy? CRON, another pot stock. MOMO, we're taking a look at. Those are some of the plays that you might consider. All I had to do was go into our heavy buying list. There are a number of criteria that we use. Volume is obviously something that we're looking for in these stocks, relative strength, breakouts through technical resistance. These are the stocks that you want to focus on. The primary takeaway from this video right now is that I like the market. The price action that we saw Monday and Tuesday and today, it tells me that buyers are still in control and the market's going to challenge that all-time high very, very soon, especially if Democrats make good on their promise to get a stimulus bill done. If you like this content, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Turn on your notifications because I have trade ideas in each one of these videos in addition to education. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching this YouTube video. I'm Pete Stolzers and I'm going to keep the trade ideas coming along with lots of education, so make sure to subscribe to the channel and please turn on your notifications so that you never miss another trade. If you like the content, please give it a thumbs up. I've loaded 2 other videos that I think you're really going to enjoy. Stay tuned. We'll see you soon.